that breath. Whether we're here in the room, whether we're at home in our bed, comfy in our jammies, hello, we can breathe in. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable for you to do that. Move your awareness. Move all those thoughts moving through our heads into that place of stillness. You might even want to envision whatever works for you. Is it a campfire that brings you peace? Is it watching the waves in the ocean? Is it looking at the sky at night, or a sunrise or sunset? Whatever it is that brings those feelings of peace, allow yourself to visualize that now. And as you breathe, just relax. Check in with your body. What's happening inside? Are there places where there is tension? Are there places you need to relax? If there are, you can always clench them and then relax. And pay attention to the awareness of the relaxation. With every breath we take in, we know that that is the very breath of God itself. We are breathing in Godness, for it is in God that we live and move and have our being. With every out breath, we allow that breath to go back out, cleansed, cleared, rejuvenated, and invigorated, sending it back out into our world as it makes that cycle again. All in God, all moving through us, God moving as us. We incorporate all the sounds in the room and we send them love. We hold them in this spaciousness, knowing that all things, whether they seem to fit or not, fit. They all belong. They are all in the allness of experience, and within those we claim unity inside of us. We claim that we are one eachness in the oneness. We hold a feeling of peace in our hearts. We hold a feeling of love in our hearts. We hold that light, that Godness, that expression of divine spirit that we have come here to be. And for just a moment, instead of holding it inside of us, we blast it out to the people next to us, to our left, to our right, behind us, in front of us, filling this room with the awareness of the presence of God that is always present. And not just this room, we blast it out through the walls and into the neighborhoods around us, onto the highways, the roads, the yards, the grasses, the buildings, the expanses of nature. We wrap this blanket of love and light and Godness around our world in a giant embrace, bringing everyone love. We hold that awareness of love and light ever present. We see it enveloping our planet, blasting out into space, bringing unity, bringing peace, bringing love, and moving it outward into infinity. We do that for just a moment in a brief silence. Embracing the sounds, the coffee maker, the conversation, the beat of our hearts, the air moving through our lungs. We say thank you, God, for all of it, for giving us the opportunity to bring Godness to every movement, to every breath, and to every conscious awareness. We say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. All right, that's not fair. You guys were crying, and I'm looking, I'll start crying with you. Doesn't it feel like that sometimes, though? And there's beauty in that, and there's fear in that, and there's limitation in that, and there's expansive in that, sometimes it feels like you and me against the world. Sometimes we remember that when the praises go up, the blessings come down, right? And in unity, we know that it isn't a matter of sending a praise to something out there, an old white dude sitting on a cloud somewhere pulling our strings and either giving us some good stuff or taking things away from us based on our behavior or what we're doing or because he just likes us today and he's in a good mood. In unity, we know that Godness is the allness of everything, that we are inside that Godness, that we live, we move, we have our being inside God. And so when the praises go up, as Corey so beautifully sang and rapped to us, when the praises go up, they go up in our consciousness from this seated space inside that says, oh my gosh, I have so much to be grateful for. Whether it feels like you and me against the world, or whether it feels like this knowledge that bombs have been dropped and repercussions may be coming, or whether it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm in a new relationship and he's so cute and he cooks for me. Whatever it is, or oh my gosh, I started a new job, or have a new baby, or I'm moving to a new city. Whatever it is, wherever we are in our lives, God is already there. God is already in the allness with us. And if it feels like it's you and me against the world, then we need to take a breath. And if it feels like we are asking for prayer from a white dude sitting on a cloud somewhere, we need to take a bigger breath and embrace the knowing that this universal principle that is Godness is what we are in. You can't get away from it. You can't be separated from it. It is not something that is behavior-based, doled out because you've been good today. It is the allness that we are in. We are part of that presence, and we are in it. No matter what's happening. I didn't get to be here last Sunday because I was flying to Unity Village at that time, and I have heard from everybody, and I didn't even get to listen to it yet because I didn't stop moving to get here until last night, but I heard Mike really rocked it last week, so if you weren't here, I know he did. I know he did. You know what somebody said to me, Mike? Somebody said to me, well, it was almost like you were still here because he rocked it just like you do. So there we are. Are we not blessed? The blessings roll in from every direction all the time. They are always here. All they need is our awareness. So I was in Unity Village for my summer residency with my cohort of 16. And I tell everybody always says, well, so how was it? It was exceptional and exhausting. And that's what it always is. It is designed to bring us there and call us Gumby because we are stretched and moved and pulled and pushed out of our boxes and asked to look at our wounding and find out where the healing comes from and to step into unity. And this particular visit was especially beautiful and poignant and all of those things because, so I've been in Unity since I was 6 years old. For those of you who are counting and not listening to my 49 from the platform, for those of you who are accurately counting, that's 53 years ago that I joined Unity. Math. 59, that's right, I'm 59. Okay, so that's 53 years of my life learning to walk this pattern, learning to understand this paradigm, and learning to be unity no matter what happens, no matter where I'm at, and no matter what I'm faced with, through whatever it is. Well, during my time in unity, multiple times, see, this is the governance that you guys don't even need to worry about, but it affects our movement. When Unity was set up, it was not set up as a church. Wasn't supposed to be one. Unity was supposed to be a discussion group and an educational organization where people came together to discuss spiritual ideas and concepts and then go back to their home church. The challenge became when people started to come to Unity and get into all these discussions, they would go back to church and go, oh, doesn't fit anymore. I don't resonate anymore. I want to go to Unity and have these discussions and go to church. So that became a time where they said, okay, well, if we're going to do things like that, we've got to think about an ordination body and how do we have ministers. And so they formed a second organization. So there are 2 unities. And boy, is that appropriate for finding unity, right? We've said it before. You don't find unity when everybody feels the same and thinks the same. I hear it all the time when I come here. People say, I love going to Unity because there are so many like-minded people here. I know you people. And I know you are not like-minded. I know that there are a bunch of different groups represented in this room, and there is unity. We step forward carrying our different belief systems, our BS. We step forward, moving through where we have come from to get here. There are people in this room that consider themselves Christian. There are people in this room that consider themselves agnostic. There are Jewish people in this room. There are pagans in this room. There are a variety of walks of life. There are Republicans in this room and Democrats in this room. There are people who come from so many different conceivable things. And the beauty of it is we all know that. We know, sitting next to us or around us, there are people with varying belief systems, varying political stances, and we love each other open-hearted and armed anyway. That is unity. That is when we learn to do it. That is when we become unity. When we walk into a place where we know that so many people believe differently than we do, and we get to walk in and beam out unity and bring people together. That is what unity is here for. Well, it has, through the years, been the goal of different groups that have stepped up to bring the 2 unity organizations into one. Now, there's a lot of red tape around that. Only one of the 2 organizations holds a 501c3. Only one of the 2 organizations can ordain ministers. Only one of the 2 organizations has the headquarters. So there's all this stuff, right? During my time coming up through the leadership that I have come up through in Unity, I have gone to conferences where this initiative was on the table. One unity, bringing us together in oneness. And I have watched ministers of 20 and 30 years screaming and crying at one another in the name of unity, trying to figure out how to bring these 2 organizations together across their egos and their agendas and their personal decisions about what is best, instead of opening it up to the larger organization as to what this movement, this worldwide movement in dozens of countries and all around the world is here to do. We finally, after all of these years, have the people in place that are gonna do it. It's gonna happen, yes, right? I know Sonny's been in it for decades like me, and so it's gonna happen. So this time at our conference, or at our convention, they had a meetup and a presentation, and you have the Board of Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Board of Unity World Headquarters that used to work against one another through decades have come together, and these 2 groups are working seamlessly together to bring the 2 organizations under one name of unity. So we don't have to worry about these 2 disparate parts. Any of that is coming together. It's going to take a few years, but they brought it up to the congregants, the ministers that were there. There were about 400 of us there this time. They brought it up, they made their presentation, and then they did a simple straw poll, a little question. Should we move forward to bring unity to unity? 97% said yes. 97. The other part said, see, there it is. There we are, in ourselves too. When we come together to create unity in here, because it can't happen out here unless it happens in here, right? So when we come forward to create unity in here, that little 3% steps up and goes, but I wanted to do this. But I wanted it this way. But I don't like her. There's always going to be that piece. We're human, for heaven's sakes. If we were all enlightened and all, we wouldn't need skin anymore. We could just go be light, right? So as long as we are in skin, there are going to be those pieces and parts of us inside and of us collectively that are going to be the disruptors, that are going to play the devil's advocate and come up with the other possibilities and what might happen and what could happen. That's going to happen. We don't have to see that as the enemy. We are watching right now in our world, outpictured, where people see something different happening, call it the enemy, and try to obliterate it. That's happening in here, so it's happening out there. It's all about this baggage that we're bringing to life. So I had this fun experience. I came into the airport Friday. It's all blended together. I came into the airport on Friday over in Palm Beach International, and I had left Unity Village, Missouri, or Kansas City, Missouri, and gone to Charlotte. And before I left there, they checked my bag, and then I got my connecting flight in Charlotte, and I went to Palm Beach International. And when I showed up in Palm Beach International, and I stood at that luggage carousel waiting as my son circled the airport, getting ready to just whisk me off to coming back home after a week away, I watched all those beautiful suitcases go by, and watched all those beautiful suitcases go by, and watched the guy come out and remove all the extra suitcases, and watched the carousel stop turning, and I thought, So I went over to him and I said, so are they going to put more out, or was that it? And he goes, oh, you didn't see your suitcase? And I said, no. And he goes, well, it's right there. And he points to this row of suitcases that were there. And I said, well, no, it's not there. And he said, it's right there. As if he had helped me pack my suitcase and he knew what it looked like. And I said, no, actually it's not. And he said, oh, well, follow me. So he brings me into customs and shows me another grouping of suitcases. And he goes, well, it's right there then. I was glad he was so assured, And I said, no, it's not there either. And he said, it's right there. As if that was going to make it appear, because he was so sure, And how many times have we been there? No, this is what I believe, so there it is. Yeah. So, yeah. We don't want to hear that we might be wrong. Oh my gosh, So it wasn't there, and it wasn't there, and finally he decided to listen to me, that my suitcase wasn't there, and so he pulls my tag, and he scans it, and he goes, well, it's got to be, and then he goes, oh, excuse me. And he said, you came from Charlotte, right? And I said, yes, and he goes, well, your suitcase is in Charlotte. He said, but it'll be here. I came in at like 11 something. He said, it'll be here at 3 o'clock or 3:30 this afternoon. It's coming in on such and such a flight. And he said, so you're going to go up to the lounge and you're just going to sit there. The time is going to go quickly. Just go ahead and get something to eat and get something to drink. It'll be about 3-4 hours. Well, I had plans. I had a son circling the airport, and I had a boyfriend waiting in Okeechobee to say hello to me after I had been gone for a week. I had that new paradigm in my life now, right? And I wasn't willing to forego either of those things. And so we had a short discussion about what might happen. Well, long story short, I drove back to West Palm on Saturday, and when I went into the office, I found my luggage. So it made me really realize, well, it made me realize a whole dozens of things, but one of the things that it made me realize was I could have had the worst day knowing that I was in West Palm and my luggage wasn't. There was a bunch of stuff in there I needed and wanted, and service preparation notes and all sorts of things. But I learned a while back that when I travel, I usually keep important stuff in a backpack, and I had brought my backpack with me, and so my computer and all of the things that were imperative, like medicine and stuff like that, I kept with me. And isn't that the way with our luggage? Isn't that the way with our baggage in life? We have these beliefs and these things that we need, and sometimes we pack them all away to bring them to a new place and bring something new into our lives. We keep some of them really close because they know that they're a little more imperative than others, and we want to make sure we can get our hands on them at a moment's notice. And sometimes we find that there's a Whole Foods in Kansas that we didn't see before with the cutest little asparagus bags, and we had to get one of those too. So sometimes we have all of this stuff that we're carrying. We don't always realize that we can pack beliefs away in a space that we may not be able to consciously get to. We may not realize that some of our stuff, and can you tell how I knew it wasn't my luggage? I mean, just as obnoxiously loud as I am. And so I knew that this wasn't it. But so sometimes we pack parts of our belief systems away that can keep us from being in unity if we need the stuff on the outside in order for that to happen. I went to the car with my son, and he said, "Where's your suitcase?" Because he brought me there on last Sunday. And I said, "Charlotte." And he said, "Well, do we have to wait? What do we have to do?" And I said, "No, we're going to head home. I'm going to come back," because here's another piece of what happens in our lives is we bring all of these different pieces of life together sometimes from different areas. And my son is engaged, and my daughter-in-law to be, who I just call my daughter because she's freaking amazing. And so she had planned a celebration to bring our two families together and a bunch of friends together to create some new memories. And so I knew I was going to be driving back for that celebration on Saturday anyway. And so I went and I picked up my luggage. I told my son, "It's no big deal. It's going to work out. I'm going to get my luggage." Now, I could have freaked out, ruined Friday over the fact that my suitcase wasn't there. Let it ruin my whole afternoon with the most beautiful man that I have met in recent history, who cooked me an amazing lunch and to welcome me back home. And that could have bled into that, and I could have pulled myself out of unity and the opportunity for happiness there. Drove home in a torrential downpour, which got all the bugs off my car, which was wonderful. See, it's how we choose to hold these things. Where are we putting our beliefs? Which beliefs are we holding close and tight to us so that we can pull them out in a moment's notice? Which beliefs are we packing away that might get lost, or we might be able to not put our hands on, and that might be working from the background? And which beliefs do we bring out just for fun and to carry with us into places that we go that are new? We need to figure these things out. Because if we can consciously figure out where our beliefs are, what our beliefs are, and we identify ourselves by our beliefs. You know, we were running around the conference with these name badges, and as we all got our name badges, we started to notice that some of them had different colored dots on them. And nobody knew what the dots were for. So it took us to Wednesday to figure out what the dots were for. We thought it might be an icebreaker game. We thought it would be something else. It turns out it was to identify how long we'd been in unity. And I was one of the lifers, so I got yellow. And we would all find one another and see what colors we had to see how long somebody had been in unity. We're walking around with stuff like this on us all the time. We're walking around holding a smile that we share freely with people, or clenched. You walk into a grocery store, you can tell somebody's having a bad day. You can tell somebody that is not friendly or is closed off to what's happening outside of them. I got to go hang at this celebration yesterday of bringing our two families together and watch cultural differences. My son's fiance's family is from Venezuela, and some of their family members speak very broken English. So we did a lot of smiling yesterday and listening to music and going down this amazing water slide that my daughter-in-law had gotten for everybody to play with. How are we showing up? Are we showing up when the thing happens that puts a little wrinkle in our day and letting it ruin our day? Or are we allowing ourselves to say, you know what, left turn, Clyde, and go to the next place that we're supposed to be and just be present in the presence, because the presence is never gone. God is in it all. And if I'm wrong and God maybe didn't even exist, or there was nothing out there, I am so satisfied that I am living a life with a belief system that embraces precisely where I am at any given moment and allows me to embrace the people around me, bringing unity to unity and everywhere else. There were so many of us at this convention that have been through the years and the drama and the creating, the trying to bring these two organizations together. And the joke around there is that I know everybody. Well, what you see here, I talk to everybody. I'm down for conversation with everybody. And I have never, if I don't know you yet, you're just a friend I haven't met yet, you know? And that's part of my unity belief system. That's part of the way that I was brought up. And so I got to go around and see like 75 of my closest friends, some of them that I haven't seen in years, and hug each other. And we got together because I know both boards. And for so many years, people would put one into one camp and one into the other camp and try to obliterate the other one, much like things happening in our world today. And we got to sit together with us, both boards, me in the mix, and all of us just crying together, saying, this is going to be beautiful. We are going to create unity in unity by conscious, present choice. We are not a victim of what might happen in this world. We are consciously creating our experience within it. Stuff happens. I didn't say the other word. I have said it before. We have kids in the room, so I'm being good today. Stuff happens. And we get to choose what happens with it. Luggage gets lost. Husbands die. Life falls out from under us at times. Or families come together. New relationships are formed. Things are found to value in something else and someone else, and newness. And what are we creating? What are we choosing to allow ourselves to create every single moment? This week's homework. Find your luggage. Or I should say, find your baggage. Find your baggage. What's driving in here? What is the reflexive thing that happens when the stuff hits the fan? What is the pervading belief system? Because this is our opportunity to create anew. In Isaiah 43:19, I am about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. We are in Godness. We can create whatever we want with it. That doesn't mean losses don't happen, fear isn't here. That doesn't mean bad things don't happen to good people. They do every single day. And what are we inviting ourselves to do when they do? We can do a new thing any moment, every moment. We can decide to create a new paradigm, to invite someone and something new in. I'm embracing a new person in my life, and it's so bizarre and wonderful and new, and now you got a whole other thing you're going to start to hear about, you know. He's a very private person, so I've promised him he does not have to walk through those doors unless he wants to, and it bleeds over. What I'm doing in my life bleeds over. Relationship can be very difficult. It's spirituality master's program, right? And so you'll probably be hearing about who leaves the toilet paper which way and, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's where we create the new thing. That's where we decide moment by moment to make a new decision, to send the praises up in consciousness and to feel the blessings rain down every time, every day, every moment. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.